to the Denver East forensics team showcase of showing the students that actually have qualified for the national tournament this summer in Kansas City, Kansas. I believe it is June 14th through the 21st. These kids will be competing with the best kids across the nation and trying to take home the coveted national champion spot. So what you're going to see today is a mixture of the events that we do for the forensics teams. Now, forensics, the interesting thing about forensics is that it is actually the root word of it. Everyone always assumes that it has something to do with forensic science or somehow unearthing dead bodies. But the truth is that forensics actually means search for the truth. And that's exactly what you're going to see a group of these kids do, is attempt to search for the truth in their pieces, whether it is in their dramatic interps, whether it's in their humorous interps, whether it's in their original oratories. They are all looking for the truth of the human condition, the human experience. And so what you're going to see is a small section of these kids. And this year, Denver East, that I am actually the coach of, qualified 14 kids to the national tournament, which is actually the most in the state of Colorado, and will probably be one of the largest teams there at the national tournament. This is by far one of the most amazing activities that no one really knows about that happens in Denver Public Schools. And actually there's 3 programs with very strong programs, and that is Denver East High School, George Washington High School, and DSA. All 3 are incredible programs and do this level of competition at their schools. So what you're going to see first is you're actually going to see an original oratory. Now, original oratory is essentially written by the student. And what we like to describe it as is it's sort of a passionate speech with the intent to change someone's life. So something that is going on in society that if we just fix that, maybe lives would be a little bit better. And this, you get to watch Kennedy Lindsay. Now, Kennedy Lindsay is a senior at East High School. He is actually graduating and going off to college to do amazing things. But what's really brilliant about this is that he actually qualified for nationals as a senior, which is always something beautiful to do. And Kennedy had written this speech over the summer and has perfected it throughout the year. And what you're going to see is his brilliant speech called Duck Life, written and performed by Kennedy Lindsay. Give him a round of applause, everyone.
The other day, I was reading an article about ducks and the interesting habits that they had in nature. For example, did you know the reason ducks fly in that V shape is so that the leader of the V can take the brunt of the wind? If the leader of the V gets tired, he drops back, and another duck takes his place. And did you know that if a duck gets sick and stops flying, not 1, but 2, ducks will stay with it till he regains his strength or dies? What? You don't think this is interesting? Well, maybe it's just me. But when I read this article, I was quite surprised with the amount of teamwork that these ducks exhibit. But I also realized that we, as a people, hardly show this kind of behavior in today's world, because we believe that we can handle most problems by ourselves. But what I learned from these ducks is that groups can make us better. Groups and teams give us something to strive for and ideas to better ourselves with. Teams and groups are ideal in tackling problems that are too big for an individual to handle. So, let's figure out what makes ducks so cool by first flying over to the pond, so we can take a look at how the people around us influence what we do. And then as we plunge our heads underwater to search for food, we will realize how working together can actually make us better as human beings before ultimately quacking down and redefining the word teamwork, even creating some new words in the process. One of the main goals of a group or team is to present ideas that others will agree with and will cause them to want to join your group or expand upon the ideas that you create. And such is the case in this particular story. On February 18th, 2013, 9 News, one of the largest news stations in Colorado, told the story of firefighter Frank Jones and civilian Deborah Pate. Off-duty firefighter Frank Jones was on his way to work when he saw smoke pouring out of a burning house. Jones saw a car outside the house and realized that someone must be inside. A 40-year-old woman named Deborah Pate was lying on the floor unconscious. That's when Frank Jones broke into the house, grabbed Deborah Pate, and carried her to the porch. After performing CPR, he turned her care over to the paramedics. He even kept in touch on the way to the hospital, ensuring that she was all right. Now, you may be confused about how a group can influence a single person. So allow me to illuminate you on the idea. As you very well know, in American culture, we rely heavily on current, up-to-date news. Often it's filled with death, disaster, and tragedy. But it's also filled with something else. Single, random acts of heroism. Acts such as New Jersey Mayor Cory Booker rescuing his neighbor from a burning building, or Kenneth Davis and Harold Rakowski, who managed to prevent tragedy from occurring when they stopped a lone gunman's assault on the citizens of Washington, D.C., and of course, Frank Jones' rescue of Deborah Pate. Frank Jones' act of heroism is a prime example of how being on a firefighting team can influence a single person. The training that they go through doesn't just affect how they operate when they're in a group, but also when they're by themselves. Frank Jones teaches us that just by being in or joining a group, we are becoming better people and we are striving to be better. Lester C. Thoreau, economist and dean of the Sloan School of Management, says that teams were important in America's history. Wagon trains conquered the West. Assembly line workers helped conquer the world, and a successful national strategy combined with a lot of teamwork. Put an American on the moon. Halls of Fame exist for almost every conceivable activity, but nowhere do we raise monuments in praise of teamwork. And last October, the United States of America gave another example of how integral teamwork is in our day-to-day lives. The government shutdown in October was initiated when the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate couldn't agree on how to fund the Affordable Care Act within the allotted time they were given. Their inability to come to agreement cost the country an estimated $24 billion, including several million lost in tourist dollars. Now, it's less significant which party was responsible for the shutdown, what was affected, or even how you feel about the new Health Care Act. What's more significant is that the leaders of our country couldn't come together as a team and agree on something that is supposed to help the people that they serve. Everyone worried so much about their own personal problems that they put their own issues and needs above the needs of their country. And this issue doesn't just relate to our leaders. When working with others, we often put our own problems ahead of the problems at hand. To restate the words of Lester C. Thoreau, teams were important in America's history. Our nation was built on them. Teams and groups helped us conquer the West, fly to the moon, and win 2 world wars. It was a team that established this very country. It was a group that helped African Americans gain not only their freedom, but their acceptance as well. And it was in groups that we flocked to when our nation lost some of its greatest leaders. But the feeling to flock to groups in times of need, while a great one, is a feeling that I can say I have never experienced. I have never been a popular person. Growing up as an only child, I often had to find ways to keep myself entertained. This led me to be more of a solitary person. I don't ask others for help, and I tend to keep to myself. Now, that's not to say that I don't have friends. There are many people who I consider friends, but in reality, I only have a small circle of very close ones. I didn't fully understand the value, power, and importance of teamwork until I joined speech. Now, I found what I consider to be another family. I found a place where I can go to be and express myself, and I'm surrounded with people who want the very best for me. Now, I'm not saying that speech has changed everything about me. I'm not saying that I'm no longer a loner, and I'm not saying that my inner circle has expanded. But what I am saying is that this team that I am on has given me more experiences and skills than I ever could have imagined. And as I approach the end of my speech career this year, it is experiences such as this very round that I will look to as being some of the happiest of recent memory. In fact, my whole reason for coming to this tournament was to have fun with my team one last time. Because in reality, I don't want this to end. As a team, we take care of one another, and we encourage each other to be better. And at the end of the day, that's the whole point of a team. Now, there are many people who enjoy the collaboration process. And there are also people like me, who just like to work by themselves. Now, there's nothing wrong with valuing independence and solitude, but according to author Christopher Berglund, certain parts of your brain actually switch on and off, depending if you're competing as an individual or cooperating with others. Berglund also suggests a little trick when feeling extra negative and competitive. He suggests that we recite the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And visualize the parts of your brain linked with being cooperative and generous literally being turned on. This, he says, will account to the unhealthy aspects of feeling desolate. Berglund advises us to remember, being more of a team player actually benefits you and those around you, in the long run. And this doesn't just go for humans. According to a BBC News story, researchers found that when flying behind a light aircraft or a boat, pelicans' heartbeats were slower when flying together in V formation than they were when flying apart. Together, the birds were able to accomplish their migratory goals by using less energy and flying further, whether bird or human. Everyone needs teamwork in order to accomplish their independent goals. But the question remains, how can we make teamwork work? Well, let's take the word apart and see what we find. The first part of the word is team, which doesn't need any further going into given that we all know what a team is by now. But the second part of the word work is at the center of our problem. See, we as a people often don't want to participate in teamwork because we don't want to put the work in that we think is there to collaborate with someone. When we think of teamwork, we often think of school or work or sports, when it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Work should be about, teamwork should be about, and it doesn't have to be that way. Now, if you aren't a fan of teamwork, then try applying to different parts of your life, such as going to school, cooking dinner, or just relaxing. Take out the work part of the word and try to create new words, such as team learn, team cook, or even team play. Take the parts of your life that you would usually do by yourself and try to incorporate other people into them. You might be surprised by the experience. If you take away anything from this speech, I ask you to remember, teamwork is natural. It exists within the very fiber of our being. We naturally want to work with others. At the end of these 10 minutes, all I'm trying to say is, if you need help, ask someone. And if someone needs your help, see what you can do to help them. When we're in a group and we begin to think of ourselves more than the common goal, it's important to remember that sometimes we have to put our own needs and desires behind the needs of the group. Or you can track them like a duck. They're pretty cool. But seriously, let's get clapping.
All right, so that was an original oratory. Kennedy Lindsay, as always, does a beautiful job. Up next, you're going to see a dramatic interp. Now, for those that don't know what dramatic interp is, it's essentially pulling from a play or a book a 10-minute story. So you've got to imagine that there's a lot of front-end work into this of cutting down a play, which is usually about 2 hours, down into about 10 minutes that actually tells a story from beginning, middle, and an end. That actually you see a character start in one way and end in another. This is an art form that a lot of kids are really good at, but it really takes a specific eye to know how to tell basically a 2-hour story into about 10 minutes. And what you're going to see is a dramatic interp is pulling from this literature and then performing it in the most honest and believable way. So that means creating a character, creating space, so turning this sort of empty space into something that is real, something that is tangible, and that we actually feel like there is a suspension of disbelief. So we're sitting there and we feel like we're transported into another world. There's no one on our team that really has been able to do this as well as Thule, and her name is actually Helena Sandvold, and she is actually the Colorado State Champion for the 2014 speech season in dramatic interp. So if you would please give Thule Sandvold a round of applause.
In the olden days, when they wrote the songs and the operas and that, it mattered how you died. When the singers sing and went about, and they sang like beautiful birds. And there she was. And she was all quavery and beautiful, and everyone holded their breath. And they cried. They cried, and in their hearts they wept for her. For the poor, poor lady who died so well. And if I could ever grow up, I would be one of them sad singers. And I would do the dying, and everyone would clap and cheer. Author Deborah Ginsburg once said, "The human heart is not designed to beat outside the human body." And yet, each autistic child represents just that. The ability for an autistic child to breach the genetic social barrier and connect with another is enough to inspire anyone to reach out to someone unlike his or herself. We are taught how to push through and find the magic spark in everyone by Spoonface Stienberg, written by Lee Hall. I was never white ever since I was born. This means I do very bad reading and writing, and I can't talk good, and I am backward. I am quite a special little girl, though. That's what Miss Spud tells me. Miss Spud does the cleaning, and she says I am quite the special girl that she has ever known. When I was born in the hospital, my mom looked at my face and she laughed. She laughed, and she called me Spoonface because my face is as round as a spoon. And when you look in a spoon, you see a face just like mine. I believe I was supposed to be backward. I believe when I was born, God came down and touched me on my head and made me me. When I first started feeling bad, it was hardly nothing wrong. Hardly nothing except that I was tired a bit. But my mom was very worried. She was very worried that I would get thinner and thinner, and one day I might disappear into a speck. So I went to the hospital. And they were all very nice, the doctors. They held my hand and they smiled. And then they said they're going to have to put me in a machine. That is quite horrible. I am only little. But they said they had to. And they would find an answer. So in I went. And all sorts of buzzers and beepers went off. And I came out. And they had an answer. And the answer was that I was going to die. And how they sing, and they flutter their voices, because it is the saddest things that are the best things of all. God made all the sad things to make us human. I've been learning a lot about God, about how he made the world out of magic sparks. Everything there is magic sparks. And the whole point of living, the whole point of being alive is to find your spark. Then when you meet someone and you laugh and you say, hello, or you say, I love you, you're helping them to find their spark. That was the point Because what was the point if you were just going to die? Dr. Bernstein says I am very brave. Very brave. And he told me about his grandma. How she used to be a singer in the opera. But before she went to this place, a concentration camp. But even there she would sing. At night she would sing to all the poor skinny women. And even in the darkest place, there was someone with such a lovely song to sing. But then a soldier came in, and he hit her on the head, and he shot her, and she died. When they said they're going to have to put me back in the machine, I was quite afraid that I was going to die. But my mom told me not to be. She said not to be and that it would fix me, but I knew something could go wrong. I knew. But in I went. And they zapped the beams straight into me. And I felt so small. As if I was floating all through time to another place. A better place, a happy place where everyone was happy and laughing, and there were no more hospitals, and there were no more the concentration camps, and there were opera people and everything. And for a moment, I looked around and I thought I had died. Then I was in heaven. But then I came out. Then there was Mom. Then there was Dr. Bernstein. Then there were still hospitals. Then there was still a concentration camps, and I was still going to die. What was the point if you were just going to die? What was the point? And the point wasn't that I was going to die. But that I was still alive. And if I wasn't afraid of when I wasn't born yet, why should I be afraid of when I wasn't existed on the other end? There are no ends. Only middles. And even if it was the middle of an end, why would it matter? Because I'm in it. And I can make everyone shine. And if I could ever grow up, I would be one of them sad singers. Yeah, and I would do the dying and everyone would clap. And when I would do the dying, there would be a lovely piece of beauty in the world.
All right, so that was Helena, or Tully, performing her dramatic interp. So again, that was actually from a play called Spoonface Stienberg by Lee Hall, and a fantastic read if you ever want to get into it. But she did a lot of research, figured out exactly how to try to do it as honestly as possible, and so it's, the hard work has paid off. So now we're going to totally switch gears. So we just went to this place, the dramatic interp place, and now we're actually going to switch places and go to the humorous interp, which is what we call humorous interp, or HI. We call it humorous interpretation, which is essentially what you would assume to be the case. It's an attempt to make us laugh in a humorous way. Now, something you've got to be very conscious about when watching a humorous interpretation piece is that they play all of the characters in the play. So every single character is going to be played, and it's all going to be played by one person. And they're going to do these kind of crazy things called pops, or other teams call them snaps. So everyone has their own little terminology for it. But it goes, and essentially they change from their feet to their top of their head with different voices and all of that other stuff. And you're going to see Will Mueller, who is actually one of our top HI or humorous interp students on the team, and he actually qualified for nationals as well. And what he is going to be performing for you today is a play by Christopher Durang, and I believe it's called Miss Bob's Cratchit's Wild Christmas Binge, which absolutely sounds horribly inappropriate, which it is. And so you're about to see Miss Bob Cratchit's Wild Christmas Binge by Christopher Durang, performed by the one and the only Will Mueller. Give him a round of applause.
You're still alive, Bob Cratchit. You haven't died of pneumonia yet.
Well, no, sir, but it's true. I am very cold.
Yes, very good, Mr. Cratchit, very good. Oh, and, Mr. Cratchit, remind me to hire you a replacement before you, die.
Very well, Mr. Scrooge.
Yes, very good, Mr. Cratchit, very good. Oh, and, Mr. Cratchit, hit yourself in the face.
Well, I'd rather not, sir.
Don't say no to me, Mr. Cratchit.
Very well, sir.
That's a backhand, Mr. Cratchit.
Very well, sir.
Oh, yes, very good, Mr. Cratchit, yes. I'm beginning to remember why I pay you your small little tiny weekly fees.
And why is that, sir?
Because you amuse me. Hit yourself again.
Very well, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, dear. Oh, yes, very good, Mr. Cratchit, yes. You're starting to put me in a good mood.
I hate Christmas. Last year, I asked for a brand new iPhone. But it turns out my parents are part of some cult. So instead, I just got white tennis shoes and Kool-Aid again. Ebenezer Scrooge shares my disdain for Christmas, but is forced to see the error in his ways in Miss Bob Cratchit's Wild Christmas Binge by Christopher Durang.
How you doing? Well, who are you?
Well, me, I'm the ghost of Christmas past, present, and the future, eh?
Christmas? Why, I hate Christmas, yes. Bah, humbug, I want to put bugs in your hair.
Freeze! See, Ebenezer here is struggling with something that in modern day we would call, Tourette syndrome. But back in the 1840s, we had no idea what to call it, so we just assumed he was a grumpy old man.
Mouth, eh? But why have you come here?
Well, Mr. Scrooge, if you don't see the error in your ways by the end of the night, you're gonna be doomed to walk this earth in torment for the rest of your days.
Oh. Well, very well, I'll go with you then.
Just grab onto my coat and away we'll go.
Oh, we're here. Well, very well. Well, where are we?
Well, we're at, Bob Cratchit's house.
Bob Cratchit's house? Mom, I'm hungry.
Well, what do you want me to do about it?
Well, I don't know. Feed me?
Feed you? God, all you kids want to do is eat. It's disgusting. You can eat when your father gets some money and not a moment before.
Oh, dear. Well, who is that awful fellow?
No, that's Miss Bob Cratchit.
Miss? Are you sure? Mom, shouldn't Father and Tiny Tim be home by now?
Dad, shouldn't I be on your back? Oh, Tiny Tim, don't be ridiculous. Here we are. Hello, darling, we're home. Tiny Tim and I had a wonderful time. He so enjoyed looking in the window at all the Christmas presents he can't have.
Yeah, and I only fell 22 times. 23.
Where are your crutches at?
Well, I don't use them because I don't want people to know I have polio. 24.
If you fall on the ground 25 times, you don't think anyone's gonna notice you have polio? Oh, darling, please be nice to Tiny Tim. He's so sensitive.
I don't care. We spent half our weekly salary on those crutches, and this stupid child won't even use them.
Well, darling, speaking about the children, where are all the children?
I don't know. Child number 1, where are you? I'm in the kitchen, Mom.
Child number 1's in the kitchen, and the rest in the rat cellar. Oh, dear. Hello, children. Feed me. Oh, dear. Oh, that's awful. You gotta lock that, you know. Oh, darling, I don't really think we need to lock them in there.
You know, you're starting to drive me nuts.
I want nuts.
What did I tell you?
Oh, dear. Why, what's a gruesome family? Why, Mr. Scrooge, I'm not hearing sympathy, am I?
What? No, of course not. I just like Miss Cratchit, that's all. Mm-hmm. No, I mean it. I like Miss Cratchit.
I just heard someone say they like me. Wow, I haven't heard that in, well, ever, actually.
Well, I like you, Mom. I love you.
Oh, come here, Tiny Tim.
What did I tell you about lying for food?
Darling, well, that was a little bit harsh, wasn't it?
I don't care. He shouldn't be lying for food. 27. Well, Mom, I just wanted Christmas dinner.
Christmas dinner? What makes you think I made Christmas dinner? I've been drinking all night. God, I wish feminism would be invented so I could be admonished for my negative attitude. Darling, you didn't cook Christmas dinner?
No.
Oh, dear.
Well, I made Christmas dinner, Dad.
Child number 1, you made Christmas dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, darling, I think it's finally time we give him a proper name, don't you?
Okay, fine. Martha.
Martha? But I'm a boy.
Okay, fine. Martham.
Martham? Oh, darling, our wonderful child Martham has made Christmas dinner. Isn't that worth being happy about?
Yeah, well, I guess a nice meal I don't have to cook is good.
Oh,
no, because then I have to put all the dishes away. Well, I can put the dishes away, Mom.
You always drop the dishes. Although it does make me laugh when he does it. Oh, yes, Tiny Tim is terribly awkward. It is sometimes fun to laugh at him. I mean, with him.
Oh, Christmas dinner, Christmas dinner, Christmas dinner. Is that a swan, Martha? That looks like a swan. Is that a swan? Well, I don't know. I found it down at the swamp. I went in with a big burlap sack and I threw it on top. And I beat it. 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 But yeah, I think it's a swan. Well, it's not edible, so maybe we should rename you Useless Child Who Can't Cook. But darling, Useless Child Who Can't Cook, it's such a long name, he'll be made fun of at school. Well, I don't care. Maybe she won't go to school then. Maybe she'll just work in the sweatshops like I did. Why are you calling me a she? I'm a boy. Oh dear, I can't take any more of this. Isn't there something we can do? Not without money, Mr. Scrooge. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Money? Yes, well, I have lots of money. And I'd like to buy the Cratchits a nice Christmas dinner. What a surprise. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Here you go, Mr. Scrooge, for Happy Meals. Very good, eh? Christmas dinner for everyone. A Happy Meal? Yay! Why, Mr. Scrooge, how terribly kind of you. Christmas dinner for everyone? Oh, I suppose I shouldn't have said everyone. Yeah. Yes, but the rest of you enjoy. And the moral of the story is, if you're poor, well, you can still be happy. And if you're mean, well, you better get some money. I'll see y'all later. 28!
Oh, good stuff. All right, so up next you're going to see what we call duo interpretation. Now, for individuals that don't know what duo interpretation is, it's a partnered event in which two people get up and tell a story, and it can either be dramatic or serious, or sort of what has been sort of the norm is a mixture of both. So it has dramatic elements as well as humorous elements. And what you're going to see is a piece called Pete. And what Pete is essentially is it's a satirical take on Peter Pan. And it is written by a man by the name of Scott Frank. Now, what is something specific that you've got to be aware of? So this is not like quintessential theater. What you're going to see is it's duo interpretation, which means that they have a whole other level of rules that need to be addressed. So they are not allowed to look at each other nor touch each other, which then creates a whole different space, a whole different ways of kind of working this script and working the movement on stage, what we call blocking. And you're going to see two of our finest duo interpreters. You're going to see Paul Yang, who is a sophomore at East High School, and Dallas Hogue, who is a junior at East High School. So they'll be back next year sharing their wealth and their talent. And they are going to perform Pete by Scott Frank, duo interpretation. Give them a round of applause.
Shadow, come here. Shadow. Man, where can that stupid Shadow be? Anyway.
Who are you? What is in my room? Stranger danger.
Stop. Hey, Mom, no, stop.
I'm Peter Pan.
You're Peter Pan? Oh, I've heard so much about you. Well, my name is Wendy.
Right. Hi, Sydney.
But I said my name is Wendy.
All right, Jessica, we gotta go, so...
Oh, what's that?
Well, that's just my fairy tink. Boy, my name is Tinkerbella. You like what you say? Come on, Tink, we have to go. Oh, no. Boy, my name is Tinkerbella, so don't tell me what to do.
Oh, but wait, where are you going?
Well, to Neverland, of course.
What's that?
Neverland is like this place that I created so that you can do like anything that your heart desires. And then, whoa.
Sorry.
And the best part is, well, there are no parents to ruin the fun.
That sounds... Shh. That sounds terrific. But how do we even get to Neverland?
We fly, of course.
Fly?
Yeah.
We can't fly.
Of course we can fly.
We can?
Yeah, all you need is like a pixie dust.
Pixie dust?
Oh, yeah, like a pixie potion. Here, let me show you. Tank, come here. Oh, shake me. Oh, shake me. Oh, shake me, baby. But don't break me.
Oh, shake me. Shake me.
Lindy.
Sorry, what's that?
With happy thoughts, anything's possible. Oh, give me a beat.
Well, okay. Here's a little one. It goes like do.
A pixie potion, help us fly, help us to take us oh so high. Please, oh please don't make me lie. Pixie potion, help us fly.
To Neverland.
Academy Award-winning actress Jodie Foster once stated, "Family is like being shoved onto an elevator full of strangers and being told you must love them."
For most of us, we always rely on our family for support, guidance, and love.
But what happens when we are forced to rely on our own vices?
Through Peter's journey with Wendy, we can see the true value in imagination, creativity, and friendship.
In Pete by Scott Frank. 1, 2, 4, 2011, W, 1, 2.
Speed! I'm not paying you to lollygag around my deck. I'm paying you to count my money. Like this. $1 bill. $2 bill.
$3 bill.
Oh, Shmi, good. Very good. Shmi, I can feel it. These seas are all mine for the taking. But
Sorry.
there's one person standing in the way of my greatness.
Oh, Peter Pan?
Oh! Don't say that name in front of me.
Oh, Peter Pan!
Oh! What did I tell you about saying that name?
Peter Pan.
Oh no! Shmi, come here. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. You made me hit you. No, Shmi! Back to the boy Great Heights. He must be finished!
But Captain Hook, why do you hate him so much?
Oh, why do I hate him so much? Yeah. Why do I hate him so much? I'll tell you why. It's because Peter Pan cut off my left hand. And that's why I dedicated my whole life to the downfall of that boy.
But Captain Hook, how we ever find him? We didn't even know where his hideout is.
Well, why go to the boy when the boy can come to us? All we have to do is capture the girl and then come running our way. And that's when we'll hook him. Because I got the hook. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. Oh, Peter, I haven't had this much fun in a long time.
Oh, look, there it is. There's Neverland.
It's beautiful.
They're firing at us. They're firing at us.
Where am I?
Well, you were in Neverland for 2 seconds, but then you got shot down by pirates. Now, you're waiting at the gates of hell to burn for all eternity. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But, let me introduce some of my friends, the Lost Boys.
Hey.
Okay, get it right, Peter. We are not the Lost Boys.
We are lost.
A boy. Hey, Petey, do you like the new outfits? They're made of Chewbacca fur.
What is this with Peter?
It looks like a Wendy.
What is a Wendy?
Looks like a hummus to me.
Oh, girl! You know what? I like your fur.
Girl, this is not fur. This is leopard.
Well, mine is chin.
Ooh, girl, say that one more time.
Chin.
Chilla. No, for real, girl. One more time.
Chin.
Chilla. You look like nice ladies.
Ladies! At least we look better than you. I mean, what are you doing here anyway? Why don't you just go on home so that no one see your stupid face no more?
Oh, fine. Oh, no. I'm all alone and vulnerable.
Well, Captain Hook's been waiting for you, Lucy.
Help, Peter, I'm being kidnapped.
Oh, shut up, Lucy.
It's Wendy.
Shut up.
Oh.
Peter. Oh, there. Okay, Peter, we have some really bad news.
Yeah, it's really bad, and we didn't know how to tell you.
So, we decided to put it into a song.
Come on, girl, let's get ready for this.
Okay, girl. Give me that beat. Dear boy green, whose name is Peter Pan, it's time to share with you my evil plans. I've got someone who's feeling blue, so here's a clue I'll give to you. He'll find you, girl, out in the sea on a big black boat with a dude named me. So if you can, come there to look. We'll be waiting for you, love, Captain Hook. Ooh, girl. Ooh. You know we have to find Win, right?
Oh, yes.
I wonder where she could be.
Look, Caster.
Okay. Then everyone else sit up. Prepare for glowing. We're off to
Narnia.
Shut up. We're off to Neverland.
Neverland.
Look. Where is she?
Who?
Rachel.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to go through me to get to her.
Sing.
Aha.
He's finally dead.
Peter.
Bro, they're fighting.
Peter, I'm right here.
Chasing.
Peter.
And running.
Peter.
And, oh, yeah, Rachel.
Rachel.
Oh. All right, yeah. There you go, Shannon.
It's Wendy.
Oh! Ow! Okay, Wendy. Well, now that that's over, why don't we go to our hideout? We can plan for our next great adventure.
Peter, I think I'm done with adventures for one day. Can we go home now?
Home? Why would you want to go home? I mean, look around you. Neverland has everything that you need. Well, don't you like it here, Wendy?
Well, of course I like it here. But my parents will miss me. And I miss them too.
But what about me? I'll miss you. I mean, you're the only friend that I've got. We could be a family, and Neverland could be your home. Neverland has everything that you need.
Yeah, but my parents.
Oh, parents? Come on, Wendy. I mean, all this time that you've been here, have you seen your parents looking for you? Can't you see that they don't care about you? They don't love you.
You don't understand. This place can never be my home.
Why not?
I mean, look around you, Peter. Look at your Neverland. It's not real, Peter. I think you've created this place just to escape your parents.
Listen, Wendy, I didn't create this place to escape my parents. I created this place because my parents left me.
Well, not all parents are like that.
Yes, they are.
No, I mean my parents aren't.
Yes, they are. You just haven't realized it yet. Your parents don't love you like my parents didn't love me.
You know what, Peter? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your parents don't want you anymore. And they made a big mistake in doing so. But you just can't blame every parent for the way mom and dad acted. But you know my parents want to take you in. And they'll love you as much as they love me.
That's impossible. If my own parents didn't want me, why would yours?
Well, like you said, all you need is a little pixie dust. And happy thoughts. And anything's possible.
All right, so that was Pete, and that is duo interp. So the last performance that we're going to show is, last but certainly not least, is Michael Jones. He will be performing a dramatic interp, or a dramatic interpretation as well. And this is actually an incredible piece. It's actually brand new from a poet and a playwright by the name of Daniel Beaty. And Daniel Beaty has written a piece called Through the Night, and Mike will be performing that piece in that, again, that 10-minute cut. So if you imagine that it was an entire play, but it's now down to 10 minutes. So give a warm welcome for one of the, and by the way, something interesting with Michael, he actually took 10th in the nation last year in duo interpretation, and he is hoping to get past that this year in Kansas City. And with this piece and with his performance, the sky's the limit for him. So Give him a warm welcome, Michael Jones.
Fix me, Jesus, fix me. You know, my father, he taught me that song in his church. Now, he is a bishop, and he is my mentor. Now, you see, the most important thing in my life is being this perfect son for my father. You know, my whole life has been this constant pursuit to be that man. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, my father, he is an angel. Now, he is always soaring someplace, spreading the words of Christ. Yeah, my father, he is an angel. But I'm an alien. And yet somehow, we both love the sky. Renowned psychiatrist and psychotherapist Carl Jung once stated, "We cannot change until we accept change." 40-year-old Isaac has been on a constant journey to obtain the acceptance of his choices from his father. And through his journey, he finds it difficult to make it through the night by Daniel Beaty. Good evening, I'm Isaac, and I am the Senior Vice President of Marketing for this major music company. Now you see, my life is my work, and well, I am good at it. Now, did I mention that I was an alien? An alien disguised as a well-adjusted black man. And see, that's what I meant to tell you. You see, when I was growing up, me and my dad, we were tight. You know, I was his Isaac, his little man. His Isaac. Now, anyway, I received my BA from Morehouse and my MBA from Harvard, which I guess means nothing here. You know, even with all of this, I'm still not perfect. No, I am 40 years old without a family, and no one sees me for who I really am because of Rachel. Now, look, she is the prettiest and the most wonderful girl in my father's church. Now, son, when you gonna marry that beautiful Rachel? Now, Rachel comes to church every single Sunday. Well, unlike you. And by the way, how is your relationship with God? Well, what are you asking me, Father? Is there anything that you are struggling with? Well, I don't exactly know what you mean. Now, son, you are 40 years old, and you got this big job and this big house. Look, son, people are talking about you. And what are they saying? That it's time for you to get married. You know, that is as deep as the conversation ever goes with him. And what's so sad is, for the first time in my life, I have found love. And his name is Alan. You know, the truth is, I love the way it feels when he holds me in his arms. And when we are together, the stresses of my father and my job disappear and nobody can tell. But the funny thing is, now people think that we are just best friends. And now we wear each other's clothes and we work out together. But you see, the women, now they hit on us all the time. You know, with Alan, I'm happy. But Alan isn't happy. No, Isaac. Now look, it's been 2 years. Neither you tell your father about us, introduce me into your life fully, or it's over. And I think that he was serious. But I can't be Isaac, the disappointment. That's not who I am. The one who everyone whispers about. A waste of a good black man. And let me tell you, being a black man is hard enough. You know, if Alan really, and if he truly loves me, you know, he needs to understand that I am not that man. But God, I just don't want to lose him. You know, he is the only one who really knows who I am. And, you know, I just keep thinking, if I can just say the right thing. Alan, it's Isaac. No, I have not told my father about us yet. What do you mean your bags are packed? Alan, no, don't hang up the phone. Alan, please, look, I'm sorry. Alan, please don't hang up on me. Dad, look, I need your help. No, everything is not all right now. Now, you said yourself that I am 40 years old and that people talking. You know, I just want to be a son. Your son. A son that you can be proud of. And that's why I've decided to tell you that, I'm going to marry Rachel. And I want you to marry us at the church, a big wedding. Look, I just want everybody to be happy. You're Isaac. Good night, Father. Now, the following Sunday, my dad, he was in the pulpit preaching with a passion that I haven't seen since I was a kid. No matter what any of you have ever been, if it was a drug addict, a murderer, a prostitute, and in some cases, a homosexual, God can turn your life around. And so that's the perception that I'm dealing with. Murderer equals homosexual. You know, when my father says stuff like that, he makes me want to have a sermon of my own. And you know, I've always imagined it just like this. Now you speak of us with such hatred. You know, I thought God was about love. Now we are your sons, daughters, brothers, and sisters, but most importantly, we are your children, just trying to make it through the night. And to them I say, if no one else will hold you, then hold yourself, but make it through the night. If you must toss, turn, scream, rip, and rage, just make it through the night. You see, we are all around you, aliens, just trying to make it through the night. You know, that's what I want to say. And you know what I probably should say. But I just sit silent, ashamed and embarrassed, and I'm a hypocrite too, you know. I call us aliens because we're alienated, so I live my life in disguise. A grown man acting like a scared little boy, afraid to disappoint his father. You know, my father, he is an angel. But I'm an alien. And yet somehow, we both love the sky.
All right, so that concludes our performances. Again, this was only a small section of actually our team. The team is actually about 200 to 250 kids that either do this regularly or participate in this in some facet. And the other part that we didn't actually even feature is the debate portion. And debate is its own amazing experience in which kids are searching for the truth. So there is lots of things to be excited about, but what I think is the most exciting about this is that this is a DPS, this is a Denver Public School program, and one that we compete with the most amazing schools in the state, as well as we are one of the top teams in the nation. And we do it all through fundraising, through time spent, through lots of work. We have a summer camp that we do at DU Law School. We constantly are working. We are constantly doing stuff. And if you put this into perspective, the actual cost of this program is about $200,000 to run, because we go all over the country. So we'll go to New York, we'll go to Harvard, we'll go to California, and we'll go to nationals, and we go to the National Individual Events Tournament of Champions, and it just is an amazing thing. And what I think is the most fantastic thing about our program is that in order to make this work, we have to do an insane level of fundraising, and how that is done is actually we give out about $25,000 in scholarships annually to kids that can't afford to go on these trips or go to camps or to be trained. And I think that that's just what's so beautiful about this. And we're doing it as a public school. There's private schools with budgets that are endless, and we're doing it somehow in a miraculous way in a public school setting, and we're thriving. And if not so much, our kids are doing incredible things. So if you ever want to donate, we will take your money gladly. The pastor of mine always says you can make out the check to us, and it goes to DEFT, Denver East Forensics Team. You can log on to our website at deftangels.org. But you can always remember to remind yourself that you spell million with an M and billion with a B. So we look forward to your $1 million or $1 billion donation. Thank you for spending an hour with us. We love you, we appreciate you, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you to all of our performers. Can we give one more round of applause to them?